Hey guys, RPM here. Hope y'all doing well and having a really great day. In this video, I'm going to be placing all of my 20 series cards that I have in open air rigs right now into an Octominer X8 Ultra. So I got 6 RTX 20 series cards and I want to place them into this guy right here. And so what I'm going to be doing in today's video is just seeing the different hash rate number and also power consumption for mining Flux on these GPUs. So right now I am mining Ethereum on these guys because it's really efficient, especially when using absolute core clock on these 20 series cards. As some of you guys may know, getting about 44 mega hash at about 100 watts. Okay, and these are my settings here, and it says 373 in the software. Okay, so just right now I only have these 4 running. And then on this rig I have another 2, which this is a Zotac RTX 2070 Super, and this is an RTX 2080 Super, and this is a Gigabyte Aorus. And then these are 3 RTX 2060 Supers, and then I have an RTX 2080 here. And so eventually I'm actually hoping to get a RTX 2080 Ti, and I think I still need a RTX 2070. Then I'll be able to have mostly a wide range of all of the 20 series cards. I think I'm missing the 2060, but then I can take out maybe 2 of these 2060s and put a 2060 6GB card and any other 20 series card that I'm missing. Oh, maybe the 2060 12GB. Then I'll have all 8 of those GPUs in an Octominer. And thank you to Octominer for sponsoring this video, as we're going to be using this X8 Ultra, and this is not the X8 Plus, okay, in case you guys are wondering. This is just the X8 Ultra. This was their previous version, and I bought a whole bunch of these, as you guys can see right there, and I have been transitioning all of my barn mining rigs into my Octominer X8 Ultras. So if you guys are interested, go check out octominer.com, link down below. They have the X8 Ultra Plus available and also the X12 Ultras. Alright guys, anyways, it's extremely cold where I am right now. It's 9 degrees Celsius or 49 Fahrenheit. It's extremely cold. That exhaust fan has not been on for quite a while. Anyways, I want to get some numbers here in case some people were wondering. So right now, this rig is on this 240 volt 30 amp PDU on this one right here, and the power consumption for that PDU is 3,474. I'm just gonna say 3,470 watts. And so let's go ahead and turn off this rig, and just to finalize some numbers here, 373 watts. Okay. And this thing should turn off soon. There we go. Gonna press the power button on the back of the power supply. Okay, we were at 3,470 watts. So we knocked off a good, I would say 440 watts at the wall for those 4 graphics cards on this 8 GPU mining cave frame. So yeah, I would say that's pretty much pretty close to what HiveOS was reporting. I guess minus the motherboard, the maybe power supply inefficiency. I had some extra risers going, so an extra 70 watts there. So 440 watts. That's great. That's great. So we're gonna remember that. But we got to be mindful. We are adding another 2070 Super and 2080 Super. So the power consumption, I'm gonna say, is gonna go up another 200 watts for Ethereum, and then for Flux, that may be a different story. We may have to use a bit more power, and so we'll see what the numbers are, obviously, once we do that. So anyways guys, let me transfer these cards into the Octominer right now. Okay, look at the spacing. You guys can see this is the 2080 Super Gigabyte Aorus. This is a 2080 MSI Ventus. You can see the size difference there, but still decent amount of room in between. And this is a 2070 Super. Okay, so 2080 Super, 2080, 2070 Super. I'm hoping to get a 2070 in here. And then we have the 2060 Super, and these are another 2060 Supers. But I do want to take these 2 out and eventually put a 2060 12 gigabyte and then another 2060 6 gigabyte. Oh yeah, and then I want to get a 2080 Ti. That will go on this last slot here, and so I should have every 20 series model of the 20 series cards, and then I can do a lot of different benchmarks with one rig. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. All right, all the PCIe is plugged in. I got some decent cable management, and I already flashed the SSD with the latest version of HiveOS, and I already put my rig config on there. So this is ready to go. I'm gonna plug it in with the rest of my Octominers here, and I'm gonna see which side I'm gonna put it on. You know what? I'm gonna put it like maybe right here, and I'm gonna put it vertical. I'm gonna test a vertical method, and you all know I will eventually have all of these Octominers vertical on like a metal shelf, vertical shelf close to my exhaust fan, because come summertime is gonna be probably pretty brutal and very hot in here, so I'm excited to see how I can manage the temperatures in here. Anyways guys, the rig will be here, and we'll see what the Ethereum hash rate is first, and then we'll do Flux. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. There we go. You guys can see it's vertical and it's mining. All right, so in HiveOS, you guys can see all the GPUs. They're not in order. I wish it was, so that like the 2080 Super would be up here, then 2080, and then the 2070 Super. So it looks like, you know, maybe I'll rearrange it if I get, you know, once I get the other 2080 Ti and the other models that I was talking about earlier. That would be cool if I can make it all in order. But anyways, 44 mega hash. The 2080 Super, I can't get up to 44 mega hash for some reason. It's at 42, 43 right now. And I played around with the absolute core clock, mem clock I have at 3300, and but generally all the other 20 series cards at 44 mega hash at about 100 watts or so. And according to the Octominer power supplies, we're using about 654 watts, which is really close to what the at the wall power consumption is. So I was basically right. Earlier in this video, we are using about, I would say, another 200 watts, 220 watts, just from adding the other two graphics cards. So we were at 3470 before. Now we're at 3680, 3690, give or take. Got another 220 watts of what we had before. So yeah, that's pretty good. So that is mining Ethereum. So now I want to mine Flux with this rig, because I believe the 20 series cards are actually really efficient on mining Flux. And in terms of, I guess, comparing it to like the 30 series or even the 10 series cards, which are also good on Flux, the 20 series cards are just, I would say, sleeping giants when it comes to mining Flux. And even Ethereum, as you guys can see, the efficiency here is just incredible. It's really good. I mean, it's not as good as, let's say, an A2000 that can get like 40, 42 mega hash at like 70 watts, but hey, for a GPU that's like, you know, a couple years old, still does very well today and is very competitive in the market in terms of the efficiency if you are mining Ethereum. And of course Flux, which I'll show you guys right now. So let me change this to Flux. Okay, so we are mining Flux now, and I have to say, these cards are really good at Flux. So here are the numbers, and I thought I'd try something different. I will do another test after this, but you can see here, I kept the same Ethereum overclocks. All right, absolute core clock, mem clock, everything's the same. Power consumption's the same. I verified it at the wall. I'll show you guys in a sec. 2080, it's getting 45 souls. 2080 Super, 48. 2060 Supers are getting about 32 to 33 soul. And 2070 Super is getting about 38. And yeah, it's, wow, that's really good. I know if I were to compare the 2070 Super versus my 3070s, my 3070s can get about 37 souls, but at like 135 watts. But the 2070 here can do it at like 92 to like 100 watts. So that's really efficient, right? A little bit more efficient. But another thing is, like, if I were to compare my 2080, which gets 45 souls, and I have maybe a 3060 Ti. My 3060 Ti can do about, I think, 45 souls or 44 souls as well, but at like 140 watts. So yeah, the 2080 is really efficient, right? Really efficient. And actually the efficiency, I mean, amongst all these cards right now using the absolute core clock is really good, really good. So now what I want to try, I want to do the standard core numbers, like maybe 150 core, 2000 memory, and like power limit of like 110, 120 or something. I want to try a little bit higher in power consumption to see if we can gain a bit more in hash rate here. I'm not sure if the efficiency is going to be better versus the absolute core clock numbers, but we're going to try that. I just want to see what the power is. I'm just curious of how much higher hash rate we can get on these 20 series cards, as the power at the wall using absolute core clock, it's the same as if we were mining Ethereum. So let's do a comparison. Okay, I'm getting much more Flux hash rate. You guys can see 64, 61, 52, 49, 54, 58. Okay, and it looks like, man, they're all really high in terms of the souls. But I have been playing around with the overclocks here, and we are using a bit more power. I would say 4,000 watts at the wall for the whole PDU. So if we were at almost 3,700, I'd say we added another 320 watts or so at the wall. But we've also gained in terms of the Flux hash rate here, which is quite amazing. And I'm actually really surprised with the 2070 Super. 2070 Super is really good, I believe. It's only doing about 140 watts here. I can achieve that much souls with that card, which is quite amazing. And yeah, this is really good, I'd have to say. We are using a much more power, but we've gained a lot more hash rate, Flux hash rate, amongst all the cards combined, right? We were getting like 30 souls for the 2060 Supers, and we basically added another 22, 25 souls on each one. And as well, right, the 2080s, 2080 Super. The 2080 Super, I'm not too fond of. I've been getting some weird errors with this card. I couldn't go to 160 PL, otherwise it would just crash constantly on the 2080 Super. So I don't know what's up with that. I think the 2060 Supers, 2070 Supers are pretty good. I mean, 2080 is also really good, but it looks like in terms of efficiency against the 2070 or 2060 Supers, it's relatively the same, I think. But it does very well otherwise. The 2080 does really well. I mean, all the 20 series cards do really well, honestly. You can't go wrong, especially if you're going to be mining Flux with these cards, which I'm going to keep these mining Flux full time, as I want to save up to build one of those Flux nodes. I forgot what it was called, but I think you need like 1,000 Flux initially to stake, and I think it goes up to like 10,000 or something. And yeah, so that's something I'm going to be working towards and hopefully doing. Let me know your thoughts about my overclocks here, if I could get anything better. I was playing around with it for a good half an hour, and I ultimately came down to these settings. I also looked at the HiveOS popular settings of what other people did, and I kind of worked around that, but this is generally what I thought was pretty good, really good with Flux. So yeah, anyways guys, yeah, let me know your thoughts of also the Ethereum hash rate that I got on those cards and all the other stuff that I did within this video. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one, and peace out. Stay tuned for adding the red shelf. I have way too many extra mining frames now. This is just getting ridiculous.